Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Doctors of Running podcast, where we, a group of doctors of physical therapy, discuss the art and science of running and the stuff that we put on our feet. Today at the round table, we have Dr. David Salas and myself. I'm Nathan Brown. And of course, you are here because we are going to be doing our preview of the Badger football season for this upcoming fall. I'm going to be breaking down every single game of the entire season. I'm just kidding. Obviously, we're not going to be doing that, but I'm going to tell you that I wouldn't be surprised.
Michigan.
Well,
losing to SC.
We don't play SC this year.
Losing to UCLA.
Don't play them this year.
Really?
No. There's so many teams in the Big Ten. But we do have the toughest schedule in the Big Ten of any Big Ten team.
Losing to Minnesota.
There's a real chance we go 3-9. I want us to not do that. But
if you really believe you can go 1-11.
I won't go that far. And there's your entire conversation about football. Let's move on. Today, we actually have a pretty fun topic. David and I are going to be talking about our favorite racing distances, as well as talking about the different shoes that we have been testing and getting miles on our feet. And then we're going to dip into the mailbag a little bit at the end. But before we do that, did you have something else you wanted to say?
I was going to say, speaking of Big Ten sports, the video I shared the other day of the video. So for those who don't know, because obviously probably no one knows outside of the internal personal chats. But there was, I think it was CBS Sports, released this reel out, and it was different players within the Big Ten. So it was like a collaboration between Big Ten sports, or however many teams are in the Big Ten, and CBS Sports going over the players and if they know what the item that they're showing them is, like from an age standpoint.
So sad.
And they were showing them the Nintendo GameCube.
And no one knew what it was.
They thought it was like a 3D printer. They thought it was something from a science class. They thought it was a record player. A few of them said record player.
Mm-hmm. It's really cool.
Some of them came clean and were just like, I have no idea what that is.
It's definitely one of those, like, we're not old, right? Like, I'm 33, you're 30, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're in our 30s now, and we're not old, but we're definitely, 14 years away from what they've experienced. And so it is funny to start to get to that age where things are cycled out from what is common knowledge in our memory. Very interesting. So that was a really funny.
They missed out. Pokemon Coliseum.
Oh, but I do need to say, the Badger quarterback was not on that video, probably because he knew what it was. Also, probably because he's like a fifth-year senior. So he's like 5 years older than some of those guys. All right. So let's get to the in for testing segment. This is where we talk about the shoes and gear that we have been testing and have on our feet. This is powered by Skratch Labs, who has a lot of offerings when it comes to run nutrition and hydration. So do you have any shoes or anything that you have been running in lately that's worth chatting on?
Yeah, I've got two. We'll be getting the written review out on this soon, but A6 GT 2014. So they increased the medial wedge there, as you can see.
You're scuffing that, huh?
I'm scuffing it a little bit. My 13s are actually right here, ironically. That wasn't by design or plan. Now, I don't know if it's necessarily that they increased the wedge. It looks like they might have a little bit, but I think the foam's just a little softer. They're using Blast Max now. And I think I might just be coming medially a little bit more than I used to with the Blast Plus.
I think that makes sense too, because if they're using a softer foam around where kind of they have the stiffening agent and some of the wedging, you're going to flatten out that softer part easier and it's going to feel more pronounced, the stability mechanism.
But I guess I got a little bit of scuff in there too, but not as dramatic though. I mean, this is like, I don't have that many miles on these, Right. I have probably 200 on this and, maybe 25 to 30 on these.
Are you hitting that with your other foot as you're swinging through or what?
I did the same thing to the Tempest.
Okay.
A lot of shoes that have kind of a lot of medial sole flare on the heel, I can scuff them sometimes. I don't really know where in my mechanics I do that, but
I'm thinking if that pitches you a little bit laterally.
I don't think I have my OG pair of Tempest anymore, but that was something. Here's my endorphin speeds. See?
Yeah. Okay.
I'm trying to think what's something that has a lot of wear in here back here? I don't know. But yeah, I can do it, especially if it kind of flares out a little bit in the heel.
Yeah.
I don't really know why.
I'm thinking that if you have a shoe that's, very a lot of medial flare that can bias you laterally. So if your entire center of mass is getting pitched a little bit to your stance leg, your swing leg might come a little bit closer and scuff you there. So that's really interesting.
Yeah. Andrea noticed that. Not Myers, Saucony.
Oh, yeah.
I want to respect anonymity, so I didn't want to say last names.
Yeah, that's great.
But not that I said, well, everyone knows Andrea's last name on our team, so.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. And so what is your thoughts on that shoe so far otherwise?
Compared to last year? I do like it. I know Klein isn't the biggest fan of the change. But he says that it feels more stable, and I agree.
Yeah.
It does feel more stable in that heel. I think in doing so, it almost feels like it needs to just be rounded a little bit more. It almost feels like it's almost too structured in the heel. Sure. So I can kind of see, I know he has kind of a slapping sensation he gets into the forefoot. I do too, but I feel like I settle into rhythm within a mile or two and then it kind of goes away.
Right.
But my initial steps, I kind of do. But it's nice. I actually do like it. I think it's good for rhythmic, easy miles. I think it still can be a solid daily trainer. I don't know if I love it as much as the previous version, but I don't hate it. It's not like one of those things where they changed it and I'm like, oh my gosh, how could they do that?
Right.
It still feels like a GT to me. It's just, I think I like the previous one more. Upper's nice. It locks down really well and the materials are comfortable. And I don't have any issues with the shoe really outside of just that heel, just feeling a little more structured. The forefoot feels like it has a tiny bit more pop. It almost feels Nova Blasty, but there's not as much foam. So it's not, I don't want it to sound like, oh yeah, that's like a stability Nova Blast. That's not what it is.
Right.
But the foam just has kind of like an aspect to it where you can you can feel that little compliance bounce to it where it was more of a rigid bounce in the previous model.
Okay.
I tend to like the firmer shoes. So I went with, I'd probably go 13 over 14 personally, but I still think the 14 is good. And I think there's probably a good handful of people that will like the 14 more than 13.
Yeah. Cool.
And then the other one, it's just Hyperion Max 3. So getting some miles on that, doing my stuff.
Yeah.
Just did a long run in it. Yeah, mixed feelings on it. I think I like it. I think it's really fun when I'm not tired.
Sure.
And then once I get tired, I feel like I'm fighting it. I feel like I'm fighting it hard. Like I think my lateral ankle's a little bit sore.
That's a platform shoe. Like some of these bigger stacked ones feel like platform shoes where you're just really high
but
up.
It's fun.
It's vaulted, but yeah, it's fun.
Like
it's got stuff to it, but
it's vaulted, speed vault.
Oh, no way. Did not know that.
Yeah, it is fun. It's a rigid, snappy, bouncy shoe. The DNA Gold is nice. It's one of those things where it's like, where was that 3 years ago, Brooks?
Yes. Yes.
You guys could have been on top of the market.
Right.
But yeah, I actually do really like it. I think for me, it's just not my shoe.
Yeah.
I really, really wanted to like it for long runs, and maybe I would. I also for some reference here, I was running with some guys that are pretty fast that I would run with normally when I was running pretty fast, I guess. And I'm very out of shape. And so we were running through these massive hills and, running faster than I'm in shape for. And I got pretty hard. So I was very, very tired. So in the situation where maybe I'm running more steady and in my own lane, maybe I would still like it for the longer efforts. But I think the second I cross that line into getting really tired, I think I just start getting flimsy.
Right.
I'm fighting my own mechanics and that shoe wasn't helping me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What about you?
Yeah, I've got a couple things. One of them is a shoe. The other one is something different. But for the shoe side, I've actually been getting some miles in the Clifton 10 from Hoka. Nice. And I know this one's been out for a while, but I just got my pair. And I was a big fan of the Clifton 9. And I typically, in the Clifton, it's a little bit snug for me. So I got the wide version. I'd actually say that this wide version might be too much volume for me. And I may have done better in the normal. So it is what it is there. But I think what I have been experiencing more is the difference between the midsole of the 9 and the 10. There's differences in the foam. There's differences in the drop. There's a lot of changes here. You can feel them. And I'll be honest that I'm not as much of a fan of this model as I was the previous. I felt like the 9 gave the Clifton which has always been a traditional daily trainer, a little bit of pop. This one does not feel poppy. It feels very airy and light, but almost like the foam is flattening out so fast. And I only have like 3 or 4 runs in this thing, and I already feel like it's not giving back to me in the way that the Clifton 9 did. So it just feels kind of really light and airy. So if you like that feeling, it's going to feel really light on foot. It also flexes a bit more than the previous version. So I'm finding that it's just a little bit more of a, demand on your forefoot, which again could be a good or a bad thing. But in my opinion, this movement was a step back from the 9. I liked the 9 a lot. So it's just more of maybe a bias there, but it depends on what you like. So if you really want that airy feel, kind of that not poppy, just light and cushioned, that'll be the Clifton 10 for you. It's a nice shoe. I just think I really liked the 9. So that's kind of where I'm at. The other thing that I just wanted to mention is because I'm bald and it's summer, I wear hats a lot. And so I've been running a lot in the new CLA hats that we've been sent. So I'm wearing one of them right now. And this is their classic Go Cap. And then the other one that I've been running is the Go Cap Comp. And the difference is like the classic has a little bit more of a kind of thick brim to it. And I wear this one just daily, like walking to work and like doing all that stuff. Whereas the Comp is a little bit more synthetic feel, a little bit lighter, and then the brim is thinner. So both of them kind of can do the flip up or down depending on what you want. But I have been loving the caps, and they've really dialed in their sizing in the last couple of years because I have a really small head, and now they have varied options based on head circumference. So I just want to give them a shout out because I legit love wearing these caps, and I wear them all the time. So those are my couple things in for testing.
When people ask me about hats, I'm like, and thankfully it's 2 of the companies that send us things, but I really like Cialy and I really like Fractal.
Yep, those 2.
I feel like they both just make solid hats.
Yep.
And the fits really are ever so slightly different. I know like the Fractal ones don't fit your head quite as well.
They're a little too big. Yep.
Yeah, thankfully they both fit my head pretty well, so I have 0 complaints on either of them. Yeah, I've been rocking the heck out of that Tokyo Cialy Go Cap. I've been wearing it all the time. I wanted to grab it, but I think it's on my chair outside.
Yeah, perfect. Great. Well, that is our in for testing segment. Again, fueled by Skratch Labs. If you want 20% off your first order, you can use the code Doctors of Running. If you're trying to get the most out of your next training cycle and you're trying to make sure that you're making the right decisions to get you to the goals that you want to achieve, sometimes it's nice to have additional tools in your tool belt. Stride has its generated workouts, which is going to personalize workouts based on the other efforts that you've put into your training before that. And so if you're wanting to have a little bit of assistance based on the data that your own body is giving you, you can check out stride.com to learn more about their generated workouts and other things that the Stride pods can help you achieve in your training and in your racing. So head on over to stride.com. That's STRYD.com to learn more. So what we're going to do next is we're going to talk through our favorite racing distances, and then we're going to talk about what shoes we would personally choose to run those in. And we're kind of giving the caveat if we had been healthy and we've at this point where we're fully trained for the race, because we are not in shape for all the races we're going to talk about. And then after we talk about our favorite races, we also might verge into, hey, what's your favorite race to watch and why? So let's start with like your third favorite type of race to run in. What distance is it? And then what shoe would you pick?
Do we want to do it like a 3-2-1 go kind of style? Yeah. No, but I mean like together, like
at the same time.
Announce it at the same time.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
All right. So
pick
and then
your
we don't
have to hold
favorite.
The shoe up or anything. We just say the distance and then we can choose we'll break into back and forth. Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
All right. 3, 2, 1, 10K.
Marathon.
All right.
Cool. Different.
Okay. So tell me why marathon is your third favorite, which means you like it to some extent. And then what would you pick for running it?
Yeah. Or half, I guess. I'll just kind of lump all long road distances together. When you're in shape for it and it goes well, it can be fun, right? Yeah. Like you're just kind of going out on a long, fast run. You're never really running. You're going 26 miles, so you're never really like going so fast that it's a pace that you can't do, right? Like you're not dying really until you are, which is like super late into the race, but like you should get through 15 to 18 of them feeling pretty good, right?
Yeah.
And then you kind of grind it out, but it's a pace you can grind it out. And then you kind of slowly die and you finish, and then you have some fun at the finish line, and it's a very celebratory thing. So I think it's a fun event, but there's so much work that goes into it, and there's so much that can go wrong. And I'd be lying if I told you that was my favorite distance, where it's just like, I mean, it is hard, right? Like, and it depends too. Like, I think it'd be different. I mean, when I was running my marathons, I was running them for time. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I was trying to run as hard as I could for 26 miles. And I think it is different. If I was running it recreationally, I might have a different take.
Right.
Where it's like, oh, I'm doing the distance, and it's just a celebration the whole way. And there's all this positive energy, and you're going slow enough to be, I don't know, like, let's say you're at the Boston Marathon and someone's got shot glasses on a table and you take a shot. Like, people like having drinks or snacks and engaging with the fans. You can do that in a marathon. So that's kind of cool. Yeah. But when you're running fast, there is none of that. So,
do you think it's possible for you to have a mindset shift where you could casually run a marathon?
I think I'm already kind of going that way, to be completely honest.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still, I mean, we talk in the chats and stuff, but I haven't been running hard for 6 months now.
Yeah.
And I think there's still a part of me that likes it. I think I still like the community aspect of it, but there's still a roadblock of getting on a line and not going for it, right? Like, and that's a weird line to cross. And I don't think I'm fully there yet, but I can see the appeal of it because the running community is so great.
Yeah.
So I mean, especially whether it's road marathons or trail events, I feel like both of those communities are just so phenomenal. I can totally see why people just get hooked on it. Yeah. I almost wish I got into running later into life. I feel like I got jaded a little bit. Yeah.
Like me. Yeah. I don't have any of this pressure to be like what I used to be, or like, I just never had top end anything. So,
and there's not even like pressure of like what a quote unquote used to be. It's just like, I don't know, like you just want to be good. You just like, you want to compete and do well. Like, it's not even like anything in relation to the past, but I don't know. But anyways, the shoe, we're getting the shoe as well, right? What we would choose for that. As of right now, my shoe is still good old reliable right here.
Oh, wow.
Saucony Endorphin Elite 1 until further. Again, if I was in shape for it and I was training hard, maybe Metaspeed Edge Tokyo. I haven't run a long enough effort in that shoe to really feel good about saying that. And this is something that I know and I trust, and I've done many efforts, 20 miles or over in Endorphin Elite. And this is, I believe, is this the pair that I ran my PR in? It might be.
I think so.
It's all shredded up.
It's amazing. I love it.
I have 3 pairs, so I don't actually remember which one's which. If this is the 9.5 one, then it is. No, this is the 9.
Okay.
So not the official pair.
Nice.
But yeah, I'd go Endorphin Elite 1.
Nice.
What about you?
Yeah, so what I had said for mine for number 3 is the 10K. I do want to give an honorable mention because I've never ran any of this race, which is why I felt like I couldn't say it. But I think that if I could stay healthy long enough to do trail ultras, I think that might even vault up to number 1 for me. Because of that, just it's like, it's just go out there, chill. And like, I even have friends running a 50K in September. And they don't listen to this. My friends don't listen to the podcast. Thank goodness. But
none of mine do either. So
it's like, so they're all running a 50K up at State Park north of us by like a half hour. And like, part of me is like, what if I just sign up and just see what happens? Because I feel like you can do that.
Wait,
like,
when is it again?
It's in September, mid-September.
If you do it, I'll do one.
Oh my gosh.
I was thinking about it. There's going to be a brand new race, actually, a UTMB sponsored race coming to the Central Coast.
Gosh, maybe I'll do it.
It's going to be, if anyone is listening to this and you are looking at trail events, I actually am not as familiar with those trails because it's over in the Solvang, Santa Ynez Valley out there in our backcountry, like in the valley over there. But it's going to be a UTMB point race. It's called Pacific Trails. Hoka sponsoring it. It looks like they're trying to make it the real thing.
Nice.
So it should be a good event. That one's in November.
Well,
So I'm
I'll
on the
tell you
fence
if I do
about it.
mine, then you're gonna have to do it. Shake on it right now.
Okay, here we
Ultras.
go.
We're ultras. Okay.
If
All right.
if you do it, we
If
can
I
both
do it,
suffer together. But you suffer
then you'll do
first,
it.
which kind
I'll
of
suffer
sucks.
first. Yeah, but
Because then it's like,
I mean,
I'll hear about it.
I ran like 14 and a half recently. Like I have miles on right now. Like
Yeah.
I ran 11 this morning.
I don't.
and it didn't feel like anything, so in a good way. Like, but my body's not totally holding up. Anyway, for the 10K though, I like the 10K, but I'm not super experienced in it. But I like it because I don't have top end speed. I've ran a couple 5Ks like as hard as I can. And I don't have that top end speed. And I always hurt in a certain way after those that I just don't like. Like my hips get really mad. But if I go 10K, I have to dial it back just a touch. And the most recent 10K I raced was about a year ago on Labor Day. And I ran it in the Cloud Boom Strike from On. And I loved this shoe for that distance. It's definitely more aggressive than I would take in a lot of different ways. And because of the design at the midsole where there's kind of like the cut between the heel piece and then the forefoot, if I go slow in it, it's clunky. So it's like I got to keep my pace up and it's like reminding me when I'm slowing down. So I loved the aggressiveness of this shoe and it's really poppy and just really bounces back. So I really like the Cloud Boom Strike for the faster stuff for me. So 10K and below down to 5K, I would run in this shoe, but for the 10K for sure, I would take this shoe up. And it's pretty fun. It's just a fun shoe to run in. So that's my pick. All right, should we announce our number 2?
Number 2, yep.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
5K.
Marathon. So we flipped. So now I'm marathon. You're in the shorter distance stuff. I'll go first. I've done a couple marathons now. I run it for completion with a little bit of improvement. You know, like I ran my first one. It was like a 3:54, cramped from mile 17 to the end. And then I ran my most recent one in like 3:29. So I just broke that like 3.5 hour barrier. I would love to qualify for Boston. So when I think about the marathon, what excites me about it is the potential for me to compete for something that's not easy for me to get to. And I just love sports that I can fail at. And so like the marathon I can fail at regularly. And I have something I think attainable to like work towards in the Boston qualifying. Although now with all of the like advancements in the times, it's getting further away from what I think is possible for myself, but I would love to try at least. Like, I think it's worth trying for.
When does the time go up a bracket? 40. Oh, yeah, so I got 35 some time. For some reason. I was like, I thought you were coming up on it.
I got lots of time to train. The reason that the marathon's not like number 1 is because the training is so demanding. It's a lot of work. And like in the phase that I'm at with kids who are at 5 and 7, they're about to be 6 and 8. Their birthdays are in like 2 weeks. Henry and David actually share a birthday. You know, it's one of those where, I don't know, it's hard to dedicate that amount of time at this phase because I'd rather hang out with them and just not be wiped the rest of the day. So in that vein, because I would be completing a marathon for completion and not like top tier racing, my shoes kind of align with that. And I have 2, and I have to give my number 1 spot to the Super Blast 2. And that's because I just kind of casually ran a half marathon and this was the shoe that I picked. So I feel like if I pick something else, it would be just for the sake of picking something else. This one's just been faithful for like lightweight, feels a little bit responsive, consistent, pretty stable for a neutral shoe. I don't like stability shoes, but just the wider base and the slightly firmer foam, but it's got enough pop. The other shoe that I would actually consider is SC Trainer version 3. I've loved training miles in this shoe. Pretty similar to what we have in the Super Blast in terms of the width at the bottom. There's a little bit of pop in it. It's just a little bit softer. So I'd have to make sure that I like that soft feel for those longer miles. The longest I've taken this on is like 12. And so I'd love to get like an 18 miler in this thing before I really try to take it the distance. But SC Trainer version 3 would be my other potential shoe option. What about you for 5K? Why that one?
Yeah, I think 5Ks, again, when you're in shape for it and they go well, they can be a lot of fun. It's weird. I almost feel like So in the new Mario Kart, because they have to have some kind of a Nintendo parallel, but I feel like it parallels to the 5K really well. And there's this new racing style called a knockout tour. And so it's basically like a long cross country race.
Yeah.
The way the new Mario Kart's set up, it's called Mario Kart World. There's like a full world, and then the maps are all embedded in said worlds. And so when you're doing a knockout tour, it's like you're going across 4 or 5 different courses across the map, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And along the way, there's checkpoints. And whenever you get to those checkpoints, they cut off. There's 24 people at the start of each race, and they cut 4 people off at each checkpoint. And so when you get to the end, if you make it to the end, you know, there's only 4 people duking it out for the podium.
Okay.
That's a 5K.
That's it. Yeah, I'm seeing the analogy.
A 5K. And so it's like everyone starts together. It's a massive group. Everyone's bumping and rushing, and it's just madness for like 4 laps. Everyone feels good. And so much of it is just staying in it and staying alive. And there's kind of like this little carrot hanging in front of you the whole time, because everyone is in track 5Ks. If you're seated well, like almost everyone has the same PR. You know, we're talking like less than a 10-second span. So you're looking at a bunch of people that are all just as capable as you. And so it's like, you're just like, stay alive, stay engaged, stay in it. Okay, someone's making a move. Okay, like you just kind of just keep covering. And then eventually you find yourself and you're in that final 4. And you're like, oh crap, I can win this thing. And then it's like, and then you send it and maybe you win, maybe you don't. But like when I won Oxy a few years ago, like that's how that went. Yeah. Like it felt like it felt exactly like that. Yeah. Just like, okay, I'm here. Let's make sure I'm there. Okay, I can see that happening. Let's make sure I'm there. Okay. Like it felt like there was checkpoints along the way. Yeah. And then you just close like a madman with whatever you got and just hope it's enough. Yeah. And that day it was, thankfully. But that's awesome. I think it's an exhilarating race when it goes well. But again, a lot goes into it. A lot can go wrong. And I think it's fun, but at the same time, it's not. It's exhilarating when you're in it and you're not dead after 8 laps. And it's 12 and a half laps. So it's like you gotta I don't know. It's again, a lot of things have to go right. It's not my chosen distance if I could choose any distance, I think. But I do like it. I think it's a lot of fun. Although my PR is in the Dragonfly, I think as of right now, I probably would choose the A6 Metaspeed Tokyo. I don't know if I can. Metaspeed Edge Tokyo. Yeah, okay. That's a good clarification. I've been told I can't say boy on air, so I'm an Edge individual. And I think it'd be fun. I like that shoe. I don't know if I could tolerate the spikes anymore for 5K. Even that season a few years ago. I don't train in spikes very often. Yeah, it's a whole different game. Unless I was doing it really frequently, there's no reason. I'm not so old I can't run in spikes. There's plenty of pro track athletes my age running in spikes all the time. It's not an age thing. I think I just don't use them enough, and they just beat the crap out of my legs. And unless I'm really practicing with it, I just don't know if I'd opt for spikes anymore. Yeah, maybe for any distance? Question mark. 800 I'd spike up for sure. You're not going to see me in flats in an 800. Right. But even a mile, if I ran it today, even a mile, I think I'd still spike up. Okay. But I think that's probably where 3K I might go flats. Okay. I think is where that's probably where I draw the line. As you're talking about the 5K, I feel like I have to go back to my 10K discussion and just give a shout out. I know I said 10K, but really it's 5 milers and 10Ks, because in our area, one of the most common race distances is 5 miles. The Bach runs in the spring. Stevens Point is not a real place. The Bach run is in the spring. I really want everyone to come out here and run that together sometime. It's so fun. It's from our local brewery. It's an out and back. It's like $25 still to run it. It's just, they do so, and you get drinks afterwards. It's an awesome community event. So Bach runs 5 miles. Our turkey trot is 5 miles. And then the River Run, which is out at another local brewery out in Amherst. Yes, I live in Wisconsin. Lots of brewery-centric events. I'm sure that's everywhere, but
Wisconsin culture. Anyway, and that's another 5-mile race. So a lot of the big races are 5 miles and not 10Ks. So I have more opportunities to run 5-milers than I do 10Ks, but I would put them in the same category. So, all right, let's move on to our number 1.
Okay.
Our favorite racing distance. 3, 2, 1, half
1500.
marathon. All right. So unlike you, I split half marathon and marathon from each other because my training and racing experience just feels totally different between those two distances. I feel like when I'm in shape, I can take super shoes, and I have the half marathon distance and feel really confident there. Like I've ran a 20K. So it was a 20K. It wasn't a full half marathon, but I ran that in the Vaporfly 3. And I've taken, it was the Endorphin Pro 2. So like there's been lots of shoes that I've taken the half marathon distance. Right now, I've gotten a little bit more mileage on some of the racing shoes from this year. And the one that I would actually probably pick for a half marathon is the Rocket X3 from Hoka. I could not do the Rocket X2 because it felt like a negative drop. You know, I fell into the heel too much and couldn't get up on the toe. They did increase the drop like they did in the Clifton for this shoe. And they have kind of a dual density situation going on. So you've got a little bit more firmness in the heel and then that softer Piba foam in the forefoot. And it just feels a lot more natural and rolly, mildly aggressive, but you can like push in it. But as I got tired, you can kind of like keep hanging out in the shoe without having too many problems. So it fits me really well in terms of my style of running. And, you know, if I'm going to be racing a half marathon, I'm probably running if I'm in shape, my pace is going to be like 6:30 to 6:45. So that'll be like the zone I'm living in. And a shoe like this is perfect where it's not too aggressive, but it's really streamlined. I do like that it's kind of centered through here and you got the cutout. So this is probably the shoe I would pick right now if I was going to be in shape and racing a half marathon. And I just like that half marathons feel long, but it's literally half the distance of a marathon. And I like that because it just makes the training feasible and the race way more enjoyable. Like I've put in everything I could out there for a half marathon and felt fine, you know, not like immediately after maybe, but even 10 minutes after like felt pretty good. Whereas like every time I've ran a marathon, I'm just trashed for a week or two. So, all right. But you said 1500. That's your top.
It's fun. 15s are fun, man. Assuming I'm in shape for it. Same thing. It's absolute mayhem and in the best way. And I think a high quality 1500, if anyone was watching the US championships, the men's 1500 final was yesterday. That was some darn good racing. If you haven't watched that, go watch that race. I don't want to spoil any. Well, I mean, I probably could spoil it because by the time this airs, it'll be well past. But,
a couple weeks, yeah.
You probably didn't watch it based on your reaction.
Don't tell me.
I'm not going to tell you. Amazing racing. And it's madness. It's just madness. Every year it is. It always is. It's one of the best races to watch, period, you know, across any sport, event, whatever. 3 3/4 laps. And they are going from the gun, right? Yeah. And so it's like you're just shy of that. I don't know how to describe it. It's like 800, you're just shy of the red line. But the 1500, it's like you're just shy of that. It's like you're kind of like just stringing out that anaerobic capacity as much as you can. While still having an aerobic element. And it's just a lot of fun. You always have crazy last laps, a bunch of people that are in it, and there's always some crazy drama. And that's how it is at all levels, no matter how good you are. Like I was never like crazy fast, but like I don't know. I didn't have great top speed either. So like I just was never going to excel at the 800. Like it just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
And I kind of got more speed as I got older, but if I could close a 1500 in like 59 or 60, I could win that race, you know, as long as I'm in contact. And so like, it was a fun race. It was a lot of chess match positioning while you're moving really fast. You know, there's a lot of like moves you don't realize are happening unless you're in it or you know about it. And then you hit the bell and it's just lights out. So, and it's over in less than 4 minutes, so it's like, it's just like boom, boom, done. Like, so it's a lot of fun. I think my PR is in like the OG Adidas Avanti. I mean, I haven't run a 1500 in a minute, man. Like, but we're not talking the one. Can I even reach it? Oh, baby. I got it. Long arms, baby. That was top shelf. Oh,
that's amazing.
I'm recording on the floor right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not these. So when we say Adidas Avanti, I think a lot of people now think of this model with the Light Strike Pro. There used to be just a very thin little EVA one with these giant little rod things coming out and this like wiry plate across the whole thing. Anyways, that was the original Adidas Avanti track spikes back then. And that's what my PR is in. I don't think I'd choose to run in that now, but if I had to choose now, I would choose between two different shoes, and one would be the Dragonfly. I think you see it on so many people's feet for a reason. It's really responsive. It's solid. Like, this is the original. I know they have Dragonfly 2 now. I haven't tried it. But it's pretty solid. It's like 4.5 ounces. It grips really well in the turns. I don't feel unstable. It was a little softer than I was used to for spikes, because I was so used to the older spikes, and that was kind of the first like newer generation kind of spike I got. And my first time using it, I didn't love it, but I also changed the spikes from quarter length to 3/16, which is what I used to always do. I always liked smaller spikes, but now that the foam is softer, I can take the quarters. And then once I switched it back to quarters, then it was fine. The other one is the Brooks Hyperion Elite LD. I didn't actually know the full name. Nice. These are nice. These are really nice.
Cool.
They're lightweight. They're stable on foot. They plant really well off the forefoot, and I feel like you can really dig off the turn. So yeah, I'd go between one of those two, between the Nike Victory. I'm fumbling words. Not the Victory. Nike Dragonfly or the Brooks Hyperion Elite LD.
Nice.
Which is funny because that's the LD, not the MD, but I prefer long distance spikes. I've never really loved super aggressive spike designs.
Right.
Another reason why I would wear 3/16 instead of quarters. I don't know how familiar you are with track spike sizes, but
none.
3/16 are just a little bit smaller. Like they're talking of inches, quarter inch.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
It just makes just a little bit more mild. Sometimes those taller spikes make you feel like you're kind of
tilted
pitched
back.
Yeah, and it's meant to help get you upwards and get good traction and be aggressive on your forefoot. But I tend to like less aggressive designs in spikes just because I'm not the most aggressive on the forefoot.
Right.
But yeah, that's what I would choose.
That's great.
Go watch that 1500 final from yesterday and then let me know what you think, because that was crazy. Speaking of which, they will be rolling pretty soon, I think, for Sunday's session.
I was gonna ask, because we're gonna also just kind of ask this question. It might be what you've already talked about, in which case you don't have to dive into it, but what's your favorite type of event to watch?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. It's hard. I like track. I think I just have fun watching all the distances. If I really had to choose, I think I would go 1500, but the 800 is a close one. I think watching really, really good runners, especially right now, I feel like we're kind of getting a golden era of the 800 again. And I haven't I'm having so much fun watching that race, because I feel like the last 10 years, we have not had good 800 running. I mean that in the most respectful way possible, but David Rudisha really changed the scope of the 800 meters by running 140. And that race was crazy.
Do you think, are you saying
like
not
5
good
national records?
Are you saying not good between men's and women's, or just men's?
Women's 800 was good.
Women's I was going to say women's, I feel like has been as good as it's ever been in the last like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, it's been good. But the on the men's side, like there was like 5 national records that day in London.
Yeah.
And then like Nick Simmons and Dwayne Solomon, like they ran 142. Like no one talks about that. Like, and then for the next 8-9 years, it took 143 to like win.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like it just was not as good for a while. And now we're seeing guys really going after it and running 141s again. You know, Bryce Hoppel ran 141 and didn't medal.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's crazy. Or was it 142 high? Or low, I mean. 142 low, 141 high. I don't remember. He got fourth, but
weird. Everyone's getting better.
Everyone's getting fast again. So but 1500, 800, always love just watching Sydney McLaughlin run. I think 400 hurdles, 400, whatever she's doing, she's fun. Shelly Ann Fraser Price in the 100 or 200. Yeah. Sharika Jackson, 200. Men's 200. I like men's 200 a lot. I think the 100, they just go so quick, and like, I don't always know who won.
Yeah.
It's like, if it's not Usain Bolt running, I don't know if I'm really watching the 100 as much, but the 200, there's just enough development in it where you're like, holy crap, look, go.
Isn't that a Jerry Seinfeld comedy sketch where he's like first place, second place, never heard of him, where he kind of like slowly moves his head back?
Oh, probably.
Anyway.
I wasn't a big Seinfeld guy.
Me neither. But I feel like I've just seen that sketch somewhere.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, honestly, all the events, but either the shorter sprint events, 4x400's fun to watch too. Mm-hmm. The relay, that's a lot of fun. But I'd probably go 15, 8, and then men's and women's 200.
Cool. Yeah, my top is probably the 1500. Just the way you described it is awesome, because what I want in a race is I want to not know who's going to win. And I think in a lot of like certain distance races, they separate enough, like you said, over the 5K, where by the end, you know, it's going to be one, there might be a clear winner, and then it's a battle for third. With the 1500, like, as we've seen recently, and I didn't watch yesterday's, but like any of the top 8 guys could win, or women could win in that last lap, and you just don't know what's going to happen. And that's what's super exciting about it for me. The 800 is a close second on the track for some of the same reasons, but I think in the same way, more people blow up in the 800. So somebody usually separates themselves. So it's not like the finish line excitement. It's like what happens in lap 2 excitement. However, that's not even my number 2. My number 2 is basically like documentaries about ultra running. I love ultra documentaries.
You're meant to be an ultra guy.
I know.
Have you gone down the YouTube like deep like black hole of ultra documentaries? Like,
I don't think as much as I could, but I've seen a number of them.
They're well done. Yeah.
You just see the grit. You know, like you don't get to watching an ultra they haven't figured out how to like broadcast that in a really exciting way yet. But the documentary is showing like what's going on mentally at these different moments. Like I just remember watching, you know, the Race That Eats Their Young about the Barclays Marathon for the first time, like, I don't know, 7 years ago or something. And it just like,
I was explaining the Barclay to someone the other day. That's just not real.
But like,
I don't know what that is. That's crazy.
Stuff like that. Just, it's so exhilarating for me. So it's not actually watching the race, but documentaries on it. Okay. I have one more question for you. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to move into the mailbag. So this question is actually stemming from a conversation that we had with Joanna when he came on our podcast. If y'all don't know who he is, he does Supwell. He does a lot of shoe reviews and kind of content creation on a daily basis right now, but I think does a daily vlog. And one of the things that he brought up on that podcast is he hates the term supertrainer and kind of questions the idea of, do super trainers really exist? Or are we giving a label to something? So what's your perspective on if super trainers are a thing, what defines a super trainer? And if they aren't, why not?
I mean, low key, I'm kind of with him because it's like the super trainer is just taking a nice foam and putting it in a high stack option and having a max stack trainer. So it's a plus trainer is what it is. And you're able to get it more lightweight by having nicer materials in there. Mm-hmm. I think at first, and I think we're in a weird era right now because everything's leveling out, where when the first like quote unquote super trainers were kind of rolling out, you had like the Prime X, you had like different things that they were just so out there, but they were meant to be fast. Right. Like it was like this illegal, but fast. Yep. Now it's illegal, but cozy. Right. And I think, how comfortable can we make this while still having it be lightweight, plush, you know, and give you a little bit of life that the other foams didn't have? It's not so much like how responsive can we get it, right? And like,
Yeah.
it's like what we were talking about the other day with Klein on the podcast with the Vomero, where I was like, well, the goal of the Vomero is to never really be a fast shoe. It's meant to be a plush shoe, right? Like, so expecting the Vomero Plus to be fast is kind of asking it to not be what it's for.
Right.
And so I don't mind the nomenclature in the way of classifying a shoe that has nicer materials in it.
Yeah.
But I think using the word super meaning faster is not what should be the implication here. Super being that they're using, Power Run PB, they're using Zoom X, they're using Nitro Elite, like using their nicer materials for a training shoe.
Yeah.
Versus, like super shoe, it's intended that this is a racing shoe that's super.
Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know, maybe we just got to change the name on that or what, but because super does make it sound fast, but I think I'm fine with it. What was the question though? Like the original question there? I feel like I went on a tangent.
No, that's it's not really a direct question. It's kind of like, is super shoe a thing? If it is, what makes it a super shoe? If it's not, why not?
Yeah.
So you talked about that.
I think so. Yeah. I think it, because there's still high stack shoes that are just basic EVA, right? Like, there is a differentiation between like, no, this is like a nicer option. I just think the word super maybe could be reworked.
Yeah.
Or just people be okay with it being that, okay, it just means nicer materials. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to run faster.
Yeah.
Or that the goal of this is to go faster, because in most of these shoes, that's just not the case anymore.
Right. And I like that take. I think my biggest beef with the phrase super shoe is that it can be really leveraged as a marketing tool.
Totally.
For companies, even though there may be nothing proven about this shoe to be super in any particular way. Whereas when we talk about super shoes from an advanced technology, what do they call it? Advanced footwear technology. That's what they call it in like the literature when they're studying these things. Yep. So like you have advanced footwear technology. Those super shoes have studies that show that this cocktail of foam plus geometry plus stiffening agent plus weight equals improved running economy. And that makes it feel very apt to call it a super shoe because it's doing something different than a normal shoe. This idea of things getting classified in the super trainer can get really muddy because I don't know for sure, but I can almost guarantee that there's minimal testing beyond like anecdotal ones within companies of small sample sizes that show that a certain super trainer like Super Blast or SC Trainer version 3 like does anything to change running economy at certain paces. There's some of little things out there, and if people know of other things, please drop it in the chat or something. But I think that's where it goes off the rails for me of calling things super trainers because of how we have the term super shoe established for something pretty specific. So I don't know what the alternative is, but my fear is that it gets utilized just as a marketing ploy. And then you can jack up the price on something that's called it. Yeah, it's just what it's used for.
Because you see like the Vomero Premium is now going to say not race legal or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't love the term super trainer either. I think it's also until there's something better, people kind of know what you're referencing right now. And that's another part of communication is like, if people know what a word, if they know what you mean by a certain word, then it's like, who cares if it's accurate or not? Like I have patients who call strengthening exercises stretches all the time, but I'm never going to tell them like, that's not a stretch. Like a stretch is where you create lengthening of a muscle and you hold it for an extent. Like who cares if they call it a stretch? Yeah. The rotator cup.
And then I'll say cuff and they'll be like, oh, it's like a cuff, like a thing that like,
yeah.
Well, like, I'll never tell them that. Like, they'll just put it together on their own one time when I'm talking to someone or something.
I get rotary cuff a lot, the rotary cuff. And they think it's like one thing and not a group of muscles. So it's super fun. So there's times where we talk about it, but like I said, if somebody thinks something's a stretch that's a strengthening exercise, but they're doing it, I don't care what they call it. So yeah, communication's funny. All right. Now for our last thing, we're going to move forward. We just want to dip into the mailbag for one question. This is from Sarah on Instagram. She says this: I found my groove as someone who needs stable neutral shoes for pronation support. And they said they have a history of posterior tibialis tendinopathy that's attended on the inside of your ankle. The Topo Ultrafly 5 and the On Cloud Runner 2 have been great to me, but I'd like to add a more exciting shoe into the rotation, thinking faster efforts, just a little more responsiveness from the shoe. Any advice? What kind of comes into your head for that?
Yeah, wait, what were the shoes again?
So the Topo Ultrafly 5 and the On Cloud Runner 2.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, definitely more stable shoes that don't have a lot of pop.
Yeah.
I would think something a little bit wider, has a little bit more pop to it. Yeah. Why am I blanking on this? Well, there is, if it's still going, because Max 3 is coming out, Hyperion Max 2. I do like that.
Yeah. Yep.
I think the Max 2 runs more stable than the Max 3.
Yeah, the Max 3 is a whole new shoe. Max 2 would
it's
fit
just
that.
different. If you can get your hands on a Max 2, you brought up the SC Trainer earlier. Like, that's another solid one. Wider base, newer foam, just a nice shoe. Trying to think. I'm looking at the wall here, or even like even a Nova Blast 2, or Super Blast, like kind of wider base.
Yep.
You know, a little poppy, but not super, super fast.
Yep. The other one that came into my head is the Deviate Nitro 3 from Puma. That shoe
I didn't try that one.
has a little bit wider. It's not as wide as some of the other shoes, but the foam, it kind of uses that foam that just feels a little bit more grounded. I didn't have a lot of wobble back and forth. That one has a nice transition forward, and the kind of the rocker kind of gives you that forward movement, so there's less lateral. So I'd say I'd throw that one in there. Like you said, SC Trainer version 3 could be an option for sure. Super Blast could be an option.
Ultra Vanish Carbon, I feel like, is not a bad option either.
Oh, sure. Although because of the zero drop, that could be tough on the tip post.
Yeah.
I think that could, for this person in particular, I think that sort of stability could be a little
that one's
bit of a
rockered
challenge.
a lot though. But yeah. That was just another random one I was thinking.
Right. But I think
I like that list though.
There's some level where, if you need a decent amount of structure, and the ones that she mentioned are a little bit more structured than even some of the more pure, like stable neutral, like the Clifton is like really
Cloud
stable
Runner
neutral.
Is pretty stable.
These have some stability. So I'm weary of going too narrow, which is why even the Deviate 3, I'd be like, hey, go try it on first before having to kind of commit to it. But that's great. All right. Well, everybody, thank you for joining us for this episode of the Doctors Running Podcast. If you have other questions that you want to ask us, you can reach out to us at doctorsrunning@gmail.com. We can add it to hopefully a future mailbag episode, and we'll continue conversations about shoes, running injuries, and the like. And we'll talk to you all next time.